All right. Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and in today's video, we're gonna go over the Trials Meta Report. Now, this is a series of videos I've been doing for a very long time, where I analyze the data from last weekend of Trials, and we talk about what is the meta in terms of weaponry. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pull up the data right here. We got Destiny Trials Report pulled up, and within the data, we can see here the number one most used weapon, dear God, Felwinter's Lie. Wow, unbelievable, 4.8 million kills. The second most used weapon had 1.6. Just think of the numbers of that. I mean, Bungie mentioned in the State of Destiny today that they're actually going to be nerfing this and that they're getting rid of sunsetting, which is really nice, and they're focusing on nerfing the weapons that are way too powerful. And dear God, Felwinter's is absurdly powerful. I mean, look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie, right? So Felwinter's Lie, they finally removed the Felwinter's FOMO. You can go get it from the kiosk of the tower. Everyone has it now, and this is what it looks like when everyone has Felwinter's. The Felwinter's was already number one before everyone had it, and even now, it's even more. The numbers are insane. Oh my God. So the number two most used weapon is the Steady Hand. So the out of all the 120s right now, the most popular, most used 120 RPM hand cannon is the Steady Hand. Now, this is also due to accessibility. It's much easier to get a God rolled Steady Hand than it is to get any of the three others. We got the bottom dollar from Gambit, which has terrible drop rate. Bungie just addressed that they're going to be upping the drop rate of that. The Igneous Hammer, which you can only get by going flawless. And then the third one is the True Prophecy, which is a open world drop or from Banshee, and it's incredibly rare that that one drops as well. So the reason why the Steady Hand is there because it's so readily available. You play Iron Banner, and honestly, it doesn't even drop that often from Iron Banner. I turned in 500 Iron Banner tokens and got 2 of them, but you can get a drop from Iron Banner, and so from both completing a match and from turning in those tokens. So I think that's why we see this as the most used 120 RPM, and it makes a lot of sense. And it is still a very, very good roll. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to hate on the Steady Hand. It is easily a top-notch weapon, and it pairs so well with the Felwinter's Lie. It makes sense that the Felwinter's Lie and Steady Hand would be there in the 1 and 2 spot. The number 3 most used weapon was the Astral Horizon, which has never been that in a long time. Astral Horizon has never rose that high because the number 4 most used weapon is the Igneous Hammer. Okay, this hand cannon is disgustingly good, and if you want to use the Igneous Hammer, the best shotgun to pair with it is obviously Astral Horizon, the quick draw opening shot roll, the roll that I guess was going to be sunset but isn't going to be sunset anymore. So that's pretty awesome. I'm happy to hear that. No more Astral Horizon getting sunset. But the Igneous Hammer, amazing. The Astral Horizon, amazing. But they're not as easily accessible, so that's why they're not as high up on the pecking order here. But in reality speaking, the Igneous Hammer is much better than the Steady Hand, but the Astral Horizon is not better than the Felwinter's Lie, so it's kind of a trade-off, So I think it's pretty fair. It's pretty well balanced. The number 5 most used weapon is my baby, the True Prophecy. Unfortunately, I'm slowly starting to let go and lose my interest within the True Prophecy weapon because it doesn't roll quick draw, and quick draw is actually really, really good for these 120s. Very, very nice. Adds a little snapshot to it, adds the movement and handling to it so much nicer for these 120s. I'm kind of sad. I'm slowly letting go of my True Prophecy, but let me know in the comments below which 120 RPM hand cannon you're using if you are using one. The number 6 most used pulse rifle is the Messenger. Messenger still staying in the top 10. Definitely surprised to see that. The Desperado perk on that is really, really strong, so no surprises there that it could be in the top 10, but I'm surprised that people are still rocking that this week in Trials. The number 8 most used weapon is the Adored, the sniper rifle. Now, this is obviously the best energy sniper rifle currently in the game. There's some good options in the kinetic slot, though, from the Eye of Soul from Trials, so I'm surprised we don't see the Eye of Soul in the top 10, but it is what it is. The Adored everyone's kind of become accustomed to using it now, and it's obviously extremely accessible. Everyone can have the Adored. Everyone does have the Adored. The number, what am I on, number 8 now? I'm on number 8. Then the Adored was number 7. This is number 8. Arbalist, the exotic linear fusion. I'm surprised that this is still in here, but it hangs on there. It's mostly used by people rocking a controller. So obviously this is for all platforms. The number 9 most used weapon is the bottom dollar. This is that Gambit hand cannon. It's so extremely rare to get, and such a good weapon though. If you can get it, it can roll. Some rolls can actually be better than the Igneous Hammer, depending upon which roll you get, if you get like the best roll possible. So it's definitely worth your time. If you can't get the Igneous Hammer, if you can't go flawless, feel free to spend some time getting a bottom dollar. I would wait until they up the drop rate later in the season, but teach their own. If you want to go grind Gambit right now, you can. That being said, though, the Igneous Hammer, it's got the Adept. It's got so many amazing perks on it. Really goes back and forth between the two of them, which can be the better one. But personally, I'm going to wait till the bottom dollar drop rate is increased, and then I'm actually going to go farm for that myself because I didn't get the God Roll Igneous Hammer. And hopefully, fingers crossed, one of these weeks, the non-adept version of the Igneous Hammer will be made available for 3, 5, or 7 wins. Maybe this week in Trials. Hopefully, fingers crossed. That would be really nice. The number 10 spot goes to the Sturm and the exotic 120 RPM hand cannon. Obviously very accessible to everyone. Really not that good of a 120 though. If you do have the Catalyst, it's not bad, but it doesn't compare to the legendary ones, unfortunately. So this is probably purely just to accessibility. People who don't have one of the other ones and people who don't have a steady hand would rock a Sturm. Rock a Sturm and a Fellinger's Lie. That's a really solid build. That's really easy to get. Everyone can go get a Sturm and a Fellinger's Lie. It's not going to take you very long. So even if you're a new player, you can get that build and you can have a top 10 weapon build within the game. Moving over to the next slot, we've got Xbox. We'll see if there's any variations. Looks like Dead Man's Tale and Bastion made it into the Xbox top 10. And onto PlayStation. On PlayStation, the Arbalest and Bastion are here. Or well, I guess the Arbalest wasn't the other one, but the Bastion's here as well. And the Arbalest is risen up quite a few spots. So apparently the PlayStation users rocking the Arb pretty strong. Over to PC now, we have just a ton of these hand cannons way up in the top. Bottom dollar made it a lot higher. Dead Man's Tale, and even the Palindrome made it. That's pretty cool. Only 140 RPM. It's crazy that they've been pushed out so far. The 120s are that strong. And we'll just go over to Google Stadia for just a second, just to laugh at the craziness that is Stadia. Fellinger's Lie is still there. 28,000 kills. That's crazy. The Arbalest with 2,000 kills. Wow. Stadia is such a weird place to go, but apparently a lot of people played Stadia this last weekend. For some insider information, if you're trying to get flawless, go over to Stadia. It's a lot less competitive. So just saying, you know, I made a video talking about it, and hopefully that helps you get your first ever flawless. But the secret's out. A lot of people have been telling me, they're like, hey man, ever since you started telling people about Stadia, it's been getting way more competitive. I'm pissed at you, Lucky. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to help out the subscribers of my channel, you know, let them know that there's easier ways to get flawless out there. So hopefully that does help you out. And let's go ahead and back to the all stats, and we'll look at the total weekend stats for this weekend of trials. Ooh, a nice spicy 246,000 players. Definitely a good number, but again, like I said before, if we're at 246,000 now, dear God, I can only imagine where we're going to be 2 months from now. It's going to be pretty bleak, looking pretty bad. I'm definitely scared for the future, but you know, we had the State of the Destiny game come out today, and there's a lot of promising stuff in there. I can't wait for crossplay. I can't wait for improved anti-cheat measures from Bungie. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can see more accessibility to trials, like they mentioned, making it easier and more desirable for players to actually get 3 and 5 wins. Let me know in the comment section below, how often can you get 3 and 5 wins in trials? Do you even try? You know, is it worth your time? Let me know in the comment section below, because Bungie is actually going to be making specific efforts to allow much more casual players to get 3 and 5 wins. And they might even come out with a solo queue playlist for trials, which would be like the solo queue Iron Banner stuff, which is really cool. Like, in my opinion, the solo queue Iron Banner thing was a big W and a big win for Bungie. I'm happy they did that. And if they did something like that for trials, I don't know how I'd feel about it. I don't know if it would be good or bad to split the player base, because it's already so fucking small. Like, I don't want to split the player base anymore, but if it helped in the long run, I guess it would be good. But dear God, I don't know how splitting the player base is going to be. So we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing in the long run, but fingers crossed that the player base stays strong, because as soon as this starts dipping below 200,000 and then worst case scenario below 100,000, that's when trials is truly a dead playlist and is truly miserable to play, and no one wants to play it at that point in time. Not even the good players want to play at that point in time. So fingers crossed that it doesn't get to that level. But that's going to be a wrap for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe with notifications on if you did enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.